be able to solve any right triangle trig problem, you need to understand the three words opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. If you don't know these words and you can't apply them correctly, you're in horrible shape and you will never get these right. You might guess right once in a while, but that's all you're doing is guessing. Opposite means across from, adjacent means next to, hypotenuse means big side. The big side is easy. It's the big side. So in this case, it's S. So S would be the hypotenuse. Which side is opposite and which side is adjacent? Opposite and adjacent are only words that apply to sides. But to find out which one is opposite and which one is adjacent, we have to ask the question, opposite to what? Adjacent to what? And the answer is always an angle. So opposite and adjacent are only terms that are used to compare one angle to one side. The angle you will never, ever, ever use is B, the right angle. So you'll never, ever use this to figure out anything. So if we're talking about angle Q, compared to angle Q, what is across from it is side T. So across from Q is T. So T would be the opposite side when we are talking about angle Q. Compared to Q, M then is the adjacent side because it's right next to it. So M is adjacent or next to Q. And of course the hypotenuse is the big side, that's S. That's the biggest side, so that one isn't too hard. If, on the other hand, we are looking at R. Now, compared to R, T is next to, so T would be adjacent to R. And across from R is side M, so M is going to be opposite of R. S is still the hypotenuse both times. So again, opposite and adjacent are sides, the opposite side and the adjacent side. You always have to ask opposite to what or adjacent to what. And it's always to an angle. So the side that's next to the angle, that's not the big side, is the adjacent side. And the side that does not make up the angle, the one that's across from it, is the opposite side. Once you understand these terms and can apply them perfectly, then we can move on and actually solve the triangle.
It's also important to never ever call the hypotenuse the adjacent side. Yes, the hypotenuse is next to the angle, but the hypotenuse is already called the hypotenuse. It's already the big side, so you never call it anything other than hypotenuse. If you start calling the hypotenuse adjacent, again, you're going to screw everything up and you're going to mess it up and you're not going to be successful. Always identify the big side first, just call it hypotenuse and nail it from there.